I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.
Until the 2024 British MotoGP this weekend, Jack Miller admitted that not a single offer came to him for the upcoming 2025 MotoGP. After being confirmed not to be extended by KTM, Jack Miller had tried to monitor the situation in other teams in MotoGP. There are several teams that have been linked with him, from Gresini Racing, Trackhouse Racing to a reunion with Pramac Racing, which next season uses Yamaha motorbikes. Unfortunately, these teams do not seem to be looking at Miller, who in the last 2 seasons has appeared less biting with KTM. Even these teams reportedly prefer to promote young riders from Moto2 to debut in the Premier class next season. There are some rumors about what I will do next year, but I will stay like this, Miller said, as reported by gridauto.com from Paddock GP. At this point, I don't have a single offer on the table and there is no option for 2025, he explained the Australian racer. Miller did not deny that he could move to World SBK next season, although he still insisted on staying in the Grand Prix. I definitely don't close the door to racing in Superbike. But I feel like I'm still not done in MotoGP, he said. On the other hand, reportedly Ducati is considering Miller to replace Alvaro Bautista next season. But while waiting for all the certainties, Miller will focus on improving his performance for the rest of the 2024 season. We are only halfway through the season. I will give it my all, continue to work well and make the results as good as possible, said the father of 1 child. From Ducati information. Ducati rider Enea Bastianini admitted that he failed to understand the decision to promote Marc Marquez. Ducati boss Gigi D'Aligna doesn't mind the criticism. Bastianini seemed to answer doubts after sweeping the sprint race and the 2024 British MotoGP main race last weekend. The success marked that Bastianini had finished on the podium 3 times since Ducati announced the signing of Marquez after the Italian series. Bastianini expressed his disappointment that Ducati ignored him and Jorge Martin in favor of Marc Marquez. I guess I still don't understand Ducati's choice to let me and Jorge go, but it's a decision I respect. I think KTM will be a good ride for me, but I can't say much more before trying the bike, Bestia said recently. D'Aligna reiterated that Ducati had made a difficult decision when choosing to promote Marquez to the factory. However, D'Aligna is well aware that whatever decision Ducati makes will not be free from criticism. Enea Bastianini must part ways with Ducati at the end of this season. The Italian racer admitted that he still could not understand Ducati's decision to promote Marc Marquez. The Italian manufacturer has chosen Marquez to team up with Francesco Bagnaia starting next season. Previously, Ducati had other options by extending Bastianini's contract or recruiting Jorge Martin, who shone at Pramac. And here's the full news. Jack Miller's future in MotoGP is unclear. The Australian rider has not yet found a team, even though his contract with KTM will expire at the end of 2024. Miller is rumored to be going to World Superbike. In the Autosport report, Miller received an offer from Ducati to compete there. On the other hand, there is also the issue that Miller will defend Pramac, which will become a Yamaha satellite team starting in the 2025 MotoGP season. Miller dismissed the 2 news. He confided that his phone was still quiet from the new contract. Those are all just rumors, frankly at the moment I don't have anything. I can honestly say that my phone didn't ring, Miller was quoted as saying by Gpone Friday. Miller still wants to be able to race in MotoGP. He has no intention of going down to WSBK. I'm not ruling out Superbike next year, that race is also at the highest level and it's interesting to be able to run 3 races in one weekend. Personally, I haven't finished the job in MotoGP, he explained. Miller seems to be a pain. Because KTM surprisingly recruited Enea Bastianini and Maverick Vinales as the mainstay riders in the second team under the factory team. Meanwhile, Jack Miller's position has certainly been replaced by Pedro Acosta as a tandem for Brad Binder. It is not yet known which team Miller will defend next year. Miller is in danger of becoming unemployed, but on the other hand he is opening up talks to join Gresini Racing, which currently has an empty slot due to Marquez being promoted to the first team. The Austrian manufacturer had promised Jack Miller to stay with KTM next season. But the direction changed just 3 hours before the announcement of Bastianini and Vinales. I think the way to make the phone ring an offer from MotoGP is to try to be competitive on the track and get good results, he explained. In other information, Ducati rider Enea Bastianini admitted that he failed to understand the decision to promote Marc Marquez. Ducati boss Gigi D'Aligna doesn't mind the criticism. Bastianini seemed to answer doubts after sweeping the sprint race in the 2024 British MotoGP main race last weekend. The success marked that Bastianini had finished on the podium 3 times since Ducati announced Marquez's recruitment after the Italian series. Meanwhile, Marquez actually went up and down in the same period. The Gresini rider only finished the podium once when he was runner-up in the long race at Sachsenring, Germany. Enea Bastianini will join Tech 3 KTM after parting ways with Ducati at the end of MotoGP 2024. After the race at Silverstone, Bastianini expressed his disappointment that Ducati ignored him and Jorge Martin in favor of Marc Marquez. I guess I still don't understand Ducati's choice to let me and Jorge go, but it's a decision I respect. I think KTM will be a good ride for me, but I can't say much more before trying the bike, Bestia said recently. D'Aligna reiterated that Ducati had made a difficult decision when choosing to promote Marquez to the factory. However, D'Aligna is well aware that whatever decisions Ducati makes will not be free from criticism. I am happy with Enea's success, that's for sure. It's a shame that we had to choose a rider from a list of 3 candidates, all of whom were equally deserving at the factory, he told Sky. It was a difficult choice from both a human and sporting point of view. I am also here to accept criticism, and I accept it, D'Aligna added. Enea Bastianini must part ways with Ducati at the end of this season. The Italian racer admitted that he still could not understand Ducati's decision to promote Marc Marquez. The Italian manufacturer has chosen Marquez to team up with Francesco Bagnaia starting next season. Previously, Ducati had other options by extending Bastianini's contract or recruiting Jorge Martin, who shone at Pramac. The choice to promote Marquez anyway gave birth to pros and cons. Not a few believe Martin is more deserving of being chosen because of his consistency in the last 2 years. However, it cannot be denied that recruiting Marquez is not just about performance on the track but also in terms of business. On the other hand, Enea Bastianini successfully dominated Silverstone after winning the sprint race and the main race of the British MotoGP last weekend. Bastianini's clean sweep is more or less interpreted as proving the rider to Ducati, who chose to get rid of him in favor of Marquez. We'll see, Bestia said when asked if parting ways with Ducati would hurt him or the Borgo Panigale team. I guess I still don't understand Ducati's choice to let me and Jorge go, but it's a decision I respect. I think the KTM will be a good ride for me, but I can't say much more before trying the bike, Bastianini said.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.